Our next storyteller, when we asked her her favorite place to eat, she mentioned that it was Dunwell Donuts. Donut spots, yummy. And the best thing to get from this donut spot, an orange chocolate donut. Yep, that's real. It's about to get real. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Marta Zapardiel.
When my sister and I were kids, we loved going to my grandparents' house because they had all sorts of things to do crafts. They had clay, paint, they had everything. And we loved going there. So I remember this one time, I was 8 and my sister was 5. They gave us this piece of paper with a drawing of a house and a tree and a dog to just color. And I wanted it to be perfect, so I started coloring the sky blue, the tree green, brick orange, And I looked around, and my sister was in front of me, and she got the purple pencil, and she started coloring the roof of the house. And I was like, she's so young, she's ruining it. And my grandfather that was around, he got closer to the table, and he told her, well, the roof of a house can be purple. And she just looked at him and went, well, Grandpa, this is my imagination. It doesn't need to be real. And she was 5. And at that point, I didn't know why, but my mind was just couldn't grasp how big that was. And years later, I just realized that that's exactly what makes artists different. They have that. They think different. They put their ideas into material. And that was amazing to me. And my sister had it, and I didn't. And I was so jealous. I couldn't stand it. But I admired her so much. I wanted to be like her. And I enjoyed being with her. And I enjoyed being with people like her. So, in my pursuit of this, trying to live with artists, I got into history of art. And I don't know if you guys know a lot about history of art, but it's not artistic. It's just basically memorizing stuff. And I was good at it. I was the best. That's my thing. I organize stuff. I'm a control freak. I love putting things in boxes, labeling things. I love that. So, but I wasn't in touch with real art. So I was like, okay, well, I'm going to try restoration. It's a great place in between. I'm going to work with art, but I'm going to try to focus my detail-oriented mind into something. My dream job was working in the Prado Museum with my white robe, restoring Rembrandts. And instead of that, I ended up on a scaffold, breathing chemicals and, really weird postures. And I was like, okay, this is not... Besides, I wasn't even working with real art. I was working with just mere objects that were not considered art. So that was a bummer. And I quit. And I was like, okay, well, I have to look for artists. I want to get in touch with real art. What place in the world has more artists per square feet? Well, I packed my stuff, I came to New York, I got this job in a gallery, and after a while there, instead of working with artists, I was dealing with vendors, trying to get free wine for events, trying to figure out why transportation companies were doing the stuff wrong, and so I was willing to give up already. I thought that was the way it was supposed to be. And one day, just the exhibitions coordinator was organizing this exhibition with a Spanish artist that was an expressionist. He used bright colors to just paint. He was concerned about social issues, so he had this big paintings of prostitutes in bright colors with red lips. It was really beautiful, and I just had seen the catalog, and I really wanted to meet the guy. And the day of the opening, the guy was just gone to the gallery, he was there, and the artwork wasn't there. The artwork was still at the customs, and it wasn't going to be there on time for the show. So, of course, the artist started freaking out, and he was going nuts, and the gallery owner, he was like, okay, just get him out of here. I don't care, just go for a walk, whatever, but we don't want him here. And we went to this coffee shop, and he was so nervous and so upset, and even more frustrated because he didn't speak the language, so he couldn't deal with the problem properly. And suddenly I just realized that, well, this guy he's like my sister. He has this mind. He puts really bright colors to things that he really cares about. And I remember that purple roof, and I thought, well, we can solve this. Hey, why don't you just paint the walls? And I was like, I don't think they're gonna let me do that. And I said, well, you're paying $50,000 for the space. They probably can do that for you. And we went to the gallery again, and the gallery owner probably felt really guilty about the whole thing, so he let him do it. And for the rest of the day, what I did was just follow him everywhere to buy the paint, the brushes, the buckets. I was recording everything. I'm taking pictures of everything, and that was, to this point, one of the best experiences. And after that, the exhibition was even a bigger hit. It was a big success. So what I realized about then is just that I might not be an artist, but I'm good solving problems and organizing things and trying to put together the ideas of others in order to communicate a message. So I might not be creative in the traditional way, but at least creativity manifested in the weirdest way possible. Thank you.
Oh, that was beautiful. I love the revelation that the history of art is not creative. Not one of those fields that you want to go into if you're trying to be creative, right? And just the fact that when the artist actually was able to put this sculpting together, I was thinking, is he going to do the prostitutes? Is he going to take the art and put it on the walls? But it was so cool hearing the story, because you mentioned creativity and artistry and being kind of systematic at first. And when we first started this workshop, it was really interesting because all the story components were trying to be put into boxes at first. We were trying to make sure that everything fit. And then suddenly one day it was completely organic and natural. And I think that in the process of us working with everyone here from the Instituto Cervantes and Speed Culture, we've seen that you've been able to become creative. You truly are a creative storyteller, and we adore you. Thank you so much. Now you guys are not going to believe this, but we only have one more storyteller. I know, gasp. I know, it's crazy, right? One thing I did want to mention, though, before we get to our last storyteller, is actually inside of your pamphlets, in case you want a little bit more information about what was the story about, or, because I know some of the stories were in Spanish, some were in English. Inside of your little booklets, you actually have the names of all the performers, and just a little snippet about what the story was about, or what it meant to them. So even if the language wasn't necessarily there, hopefully you'll be able to still get a little bit of that takeaway and a little bit of the story. So keep those with you, and we hope that we'll be seeing you at many, many more MOCs in the future.